Hello everyone and welcome back to the AOR Season 12 Championship on PS4. It's round 15 here in Italy. My name is Shane and back with me once again is Dan.
Yeah, it's great to be back in the commentary box, Shane, as our omission last time out seemed to have a big effect on the drivers, as most of them got caught up in a huge start line pile-up last time out in Belgium. However, the result of that meant Nervo now has a commanding lead in the championship, and Alex now needs a massive streak of good results to get back in the championship race. The question is, can he do that today? But first, it's time for the qualifying report.
This week's qualifying comparison for AOR PS4, the Italian Grand Prix, is between Ali K on the left and his McLaren and Kian's Renault on the right as they battle for what will eventually be pole position and fourth place for the starting grid. They start their laps now going down the main straight at this point, just trying to focus on the break point here, and both of them get it pretty spot on and entering the first chicane, both taking very similar lines, nice and clean and tight on the first and second exit then. And off the exit, it's very clear that already Ali has a bit of an advantage, probably running a little bit of a lower drag setup as he entered turn one a little bit earlier than Kian. But as we come up to the first sector split, if we pause the video at the moment, it's very clear that Ali already has about a 2/10 advantage. Going to the next section now, starting sector 2, both cars lose the back in a tiny bit. Both drivers control that slide very nicely, with the Renault taking a bit more curbing then, and they enter Lesmo 1, both taking a very similar tight line, then going as wide as possible on the exit. Then for Lesmo 2, both taking a bit of the curb and more to get the tightest entry to that corner, and now another relaxing point as they both open DRS and head towards the famous Ascari section. So as we come to the end of sector 2, pausing the video, it's very clear that Ali's extended his lead even more to around probably 3/10, but now both drivers hard on the brakes, turning in, shucking the car left, and Ali taking a lot of curbing there, but keeping it within the track limits on the exit of the corner, extending his lead even more potentially. He's got a few cars to worry about on the left, but they should get out of the way, slow cars there, and now they psych themselves up for the final corner, Parabolica, and Ali can maybe sniff the pole here as he comes through into Parabolica. You can see a car right ahead of him, maybe puts him off a little bit because he gets a bit of a looser rear end, but he controls it okay. And then on the exit, relaxing, coming across the line, and that'll be pole position for Ali with a 1:21.7, and fourth place on the grid for Kian's Renault in a 1:22 point dead.
So in one of the most eventful qualifying sessions of the season, it was Ali K to take his third pole position, over 2/10 clear of Alex, who will line up on the front row with him. It was Big Shot just behind, with Kian making up the second row, with Qualy making it a very impressive day for McLaren as he'll line up fifth. Aretic was 6th with M4 just behind him. I Super Scrub, a reserve for this race, will line up 8th, with B Colt taking a very impressive qualifying position in 9th. Behind the Manor driver, it was Nummer, with 10th to 17th separated by less than 3/10. Theo will be the first driver to have a free choice of tyre compound in the race, with Jonas just behind him, with BMU and Big C being on the 7th row. Big C the only person to set a time on the super soft tyre. Jake is 15th, with MBA Ruben 16th, and X-Men Madness rounding out the close midfield pack, with Dan and Sean being the last of the drivers to set a lap in the qualifying session. RBOS set no time, and Jim Neurotank will line up last. The championship leader crashed in qualifying and thus will start in P21. It is time now for the Italian Grand Prix.
It's race time at the Cathedral of Speed for round 15. We've got a great lineup on the grid for a fantastic race. We've got Ali on pole, Alex in second, and the championship leader at the very back in 21st.
Yeah, after Belgium, I genuinely thought this title was over. Alex's hopes of clinching his first AOR title seem to be over, but he's been given a lifeline here in qualifying, and he needs to make it count today. This is a legendary track, many opportunities to overtake, and I'm sure Alex will be looking to get a good start and take that lead into turn one.
Yeah, so Alex already giving signs to Ali K straight off the grid there, and Alex straight away getting past him off the line. But of course it's a formation lap, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, as we said, it's kind of a warning for Ali to know that Alex is definitely hungry for this win. We've got Kian down in 4th place, obviously the championship leader's teammate, so he needs to get up there and try and assist his teammate in any way possible for the remaining couple of races that we've got for the rest of this season. And Ali K grabbing his 3rd pole then of the season as well, so he's in a very good position to try and recover some of the wins that he might have lost earlier on in the season in Canada and Baku. Here we are now on board with him coming through the second Lesmo. Starting on the soft tyres, so he's going to be trying to aim for a one-stop, as that will definitely be the quicker strategy around this track. But do we think that is possible, Dan, with the tyre wear we've got around here?
Well, it's just about possible, because obviously we do still have the tyre wear glitch in effect. It has been fixed for the Singapore Grand Prix onwards, so we won't have to suffer that in qualifying anymore. But as you can see here, we've got Fia on the mediums, with Jonas just behind on the super soft. Very interesting call by the Sauber driver there. But yeah, so all the top 10 starting on the soft compound tyre, and this does give you an opportunity to do the one stop, as Alex chooses to go onto the grass. That's not helping his tyre wear. And yeah, so if they can't do a one stop, it'll definitely be a two stop, and they'll probably try to go on the super soft tyres at the end of the race to try and make up the time they'll lose by doing that extra pit stop. Super Scrub there in P8, a very impressive qualifying for him. He's obviously a reserve, so his points won't count in terms of the championship table. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how that affects the race today as they now line up on the grid.
Yep, Super Scrub currently alongside Thorn then, who moved up to third in the championship last time out, as we get ready for the 5 red lights. Lights out, away we go for the Italian Grand Prix, and Ali K's got off to a great start there. It's Alex who's the one who's struggling on the run down towards turn 1. That's Big Shot on the outside, trying to go around the outside of him into the first chicane. He's already ahead, actually, going through the first corners, and now Ali K is away and clear. Big Shot is now up to second. Alex is now struggling and being now under threat from the McLaren of Clarke. As Kian's dropped back to 5th place as well. Thorn now up to 6th, and Aresi has dropped back as well. And now Aresi's trying to go back round the outside. He's just about got onto the grass and somehow makes the corner. He's cut over the second part of the chicane though, and I think let Thorn back through. So Thorn is now back up into 6th place, and Alex already dropping away from the 2 at the front.
Yeah, we've seen this at the start of the races many times. Alex seems to struggle for pace, and we saw that in Hungary. And he is coming under pressure from the McLaren of Clarke, but back with Super Scrub, and he is all over the back of Aresi, who got past M4, but then I do believe let him back through as we go into Ascari for the first time. The driver's trying to spot the apex. Obviously, a lot of corner cutting opportunities are possible around here, but back to the front, and Big Shot seems to be pressuring Ali for the lead as we head into Paraguay. He takes the outside line. Ali choosing to defend the inside, but now back with Clarke for P5, and I think he's lost position to Kian as Kian loses the rear end. But once again, back to the battle for the front, and I think Big Shot here is going to take the lead of the Italian Grand Prix.
Yeah, down towards turn 1 then. He's already ahead well before the braking zone. Can Ali come back on the brakes? No, he can't. So that's Big Shot. Big Shot's gone wide straight over the curves at turn 1. He's hit the side of the McLaren, and now that's going to cost him a lot of time out of the corner, and this is Alex's chance to try and get back up into 2nd place. Through Curva Grande they come, now up to the Variante della Roggia, down towards the 2nd chicane, and Alex can't quite make it stick just yet. Thorn up the inside of Kian into that 2nd chicane and grabs 4th place, so he's had a terrific start to this race. He's already up to 4th now. He's got ahead of Clarke somewhere, and as we just saw, he is now up to 4th, passing the Renault of Kian, who's not doing a very good job of trying to help Nervo, who we haven't really seen so far yet in this race. And now on the run up towards Ascari, Ali has got the break that he really wanted. He's a couple of seconds ahead of the Ferrari of Big Shot, obviously the fan favourite at the Italian Grand Prix. Then it's the Red Bull of Alex, followed by Thorn, Kian, and then Clarke in 6th place, and Aresi down in 7th. Super Scrub, the reserve, in 8th place, followed by B Colt and Nummer rounding out the top 10. Is Thorn up the inside of the Parabolica of the Red Bull of Alex. Alex has been put on to the painted green surface and has now lost him a lot of momentum now out of that corner, and Kian's now past him. So Alex is now down to 5th place, and now is he going to have a run up towards turn 1? He's having a look up the inside of the Renault, but can't quite make it stick just yet. B Colt now up the inside of Aresi, who's actually no, Super Scrub's got past the Ferrari there. So and now B Colt's driven around the outside of Aresi as well. So that's not worked out at all well for that Ferrari driver, who's now dropped back down to 9th place. Alex has got a run on Kian, now up the inside, and can't quite make it stick just yet. So that is all kicking off here at the start of lap 3, Dan.
Yes, I can't believe the action we've already had, but all these guys in a massive slipstream train, this just enables so much overtaking to happen. But Alex down to P5, it's not been a great start for him, but it has been a great start for Ali K out front. And M4 also having an amazing start, could be going up into P2 as he gets the inside line for Ascari, and he's done it. So he's up into P2 and now begins to hunt down Ali K, who's already got a 2-second advantage, and that's a huge thing at Monza, considering the nature of the slipstream on this game. It's so powerful and gives you, I would say, around 8/10 to a second a lap, especially at this track, as Super Scrub going up the inside of Clarkey into the Parabolica, and he's up to P6. A great debut for him in this league, as Ali K sets the fastest lap, and no one can match that, as Big Shot is now trying to come back at the hash driver of M4, heading down into turn 1. He'll have the outside line. It's going to be very difficult to pass around there, and I think M4 will hold on to P2 for the time being.
Yeah, it's a fantastic start for the Haas driver, up to 2nd now from 7th on the grid. He obviously finished 2nd last time out in Belgium after that chaotic start that we had last time, and now he is going to try and hunt for that victory. Here is Nervotank then down in 21st and miles off of anyone. The car in front of him is Sean, obviously the other reserve driver we've got in for this race, who has retired and sadly left the race as well. So it kind of says a lot that Nervo definitely must have had some kind of problem at the start, and is now all the way down at the back. He has just set a fastest lap, so he is not given up on any chance of points at the moment. Obviously that's very good to see that he hasn't retired just yet, because there is a long way to go in this race. Anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does. So now Big Shot is right behind the Haas of Mthorn. As Dan has just said, it's pretty much a slipstream fest that we've got around this track, and while these two are battling and squabbling for position and chopping and changing positions, that is allowing Ali up front to get away.
Yeah, and Ali must have a pretty big advantage, as we see in the top left-hand corner. Can't just about make that out, but I think it's around 3 seconds as Big Shot is now going to the outside for turn 1, but he seems to be much further ahead this time, and there will be ahead going under the brakes, and that is the Ferrari driver back up into P2. And so M4's charge through the field has been halted by the Ferrari driver, but will now get the slipstream as we head down towards the second chicane up in Richmond. As you can see, I think he's down on fuel, so he'll have to say something at some point. I wonder if he puts it down into lean during these chicanes. No, he doesn't. He keeps it in standard. But nevertheless, he's got to find a way past the Ferrari driver at some point, or they can use the slipstream and DRS to their advantage to try and catch back up to the McLaren driver. But he definitely seems to have the pace today, does Ali?
Yeah, also another point to note as well, while M. Thorne has got that slipstream, he can save fuel, because you're going to save a lot of fuel down the straights if you stick it in that lane. So now on board with Alex, trying to get that 4th place back off the Renault, who he desperately rather needs to pass if Alex wants to take the chance to try and get maximum points here. He's got to get his act together and start making his way up the field, as M. Thorne is now right on the back, glued to the back of that Ferrari, and he's got a very good run out of the Parabolica. He's got much tighter line, which is going to give him better purchase out of the corner, and now down towards turn 1 he's going to have the DRS, but Big Shot has actually got great straight line speed, and can he hang on in the braking zone? Yes, he does. Empton backs off in the braking zone, so he maintains that place for now, as Kian is very late on the brakes into that first chicane, and now on the exit of it, he's obviously going to drop back slightly with the concertina effect of these cars. Now on board with the race leader, who is in a very good position at the moment, and judging by that first sector time, very consistent as well, and doing exactly what he needs to do at this stage in the race to try and win it, as M. Thorne gets on the grass slightly out of that second chicane.
Yeah, Ali has taken 2 previous pole positions this season, and without wanting to sound harsh, he's kind of bottled them both. But this is a great opportunity for him to claim his first win of the season. But these, from 2nd to 5th, they seem to have broken away from the mid-pack, and M4 still behind the Ferrari of Big Shot, who does seem to have very good straight line speed, which will mean that he'll have a very good opportunity to defend in the key positions down into turn 1 and also into Ascari. But now, as they head down the back straight, in towards Parabolica for the end of lap 6, and this race is already flying by. Obviously, a very quick race. And X-Men Madness has retired from the session. I wonder if that is going to bring out a safety car, but nevertheless, as we go on to start of lap 7, it's M4 in the slipstream, and the safety car has been deployed. And Bicol is the first of the drivers who's been able to pit under the safety car. So everyone else behind will also be able to pit. And this is crucial because this means the drivers behind Bicol will not get a delta time because they didn't cross the start-finish line. Whereas everyone else ahead will. So these guys can get a pit stop and then also gain up the time because they can go flat out. So this is a huge advantage to people who were effectively P7 or below, because they'll get a free pit stop and will really screw over here the top 6.
Yeah, so we're going to have to wait until the next couple of laps really to find out where everyone is, as these guys are going around quite slowly. I wonder what that is. There's no delta for Alex at the moment, which is rather strange.
I think Ali will have a delta, so that is why they're all slowing up behind him.
Well, we'll have to wait. Yes, he does. He does have a delta. So the gap that Ali did have has literally just been evaporated because of this system that we have on this game, where some drivers have a delta and others don't for some reason. So you can see that. You can tell from Ali having a 3-second gap to Big Shot. That has come down very much so. So these guys surely are all going to have to pit. That's Jonas in the background and Big C. I don't think they've pitted yet either though. So I think they'll come in at the end of this lap. There's Ali trying to slow them all down to try and get into the pits. Obviously he has got that delta. Big Shot has stayed out, interestingly. I wonder why he's done that. But nevertheless, we've got Ali in the pits. I think Super Scrub has stayed out as well actually. So we've got a lot of these guys pitting. And is this in the window for a one-stop? Well, Ali's going back onto another set of softs, so he definitely thinks not. M-Thorn's gone on to mediums. So there's a lot of strategy that's come into this. And that's hurt Ali badly. He's down now into 6th place. Will he get out ahead of RBOS? No, he won't. So he's now in 7th place. And he's got Theo right behind him.
Yeah, so as we can tell, Bicol, Aresi, Dan and RBOS, the big gainers out of that safety car period. Theo also up into 8th and M4 down into P9. It's worked out horribly for them. But M4 on the medium compound tyre, and I honestly don't think he will be able to get mediums to the end of the race. Big Shot and I Super Scrub, the drivers who elected to stay out, that's a very interesting call, because I think their soft tyres will be around about 40 to 50%. So they will only be able to take those soft tyres around about 3 or 4 laps at the end of this stint. But effectively, they will only have to stop once more, which is the same as pretty much everyone else in the field. So it's an interesting gamble they've effectively taken. But Kian down in P14 worked out horribly for him. It has worked out pretty well though for his teammate Jim Nervatang, because the gap that he lost, he will now be able to catch up to the back of this field and will have a chance to score some points here today.
Yeah, it's worked out terrifically for Bicol as well, up there in 3rd place. So he's the first of those who has made a pit stop in this race. And Aresi is in 4th as well. So it's worked not too bad for those guys. And Dan in 5th place. So it's worked out very well for those guys who were pretty much down at the thick end of the top 10. So I think that was another pitter that we had there as well. Who was that? I think that's Super Scrub. Yeah, who's dropped out. So that's Bicol now up to 2nd. So he's going to be the first of the guys who has pitted. And he's going to be right on Big Shot on those fresh set of soft tyres that he's put on. And now here is Super Scrub coming out of the pits down in 18th. He's gone to a set of mediums. So he is probably going to try and get to the end of the race. But obviously we've got 18 laps to go, including this one. So this is going to be a nightmare to work out in terms of strategy.
Yep, and we're going to get a replay now on lap 6 on board with Kian. Is this when the safety car comes out? So yeah. This for me is how the delta works. We're not entirely sure, but because so Kian's got a delta, right? This confuses me massively.
Here we go again.
So now we're on board with B-Cole. Look, safety car deployed, super scrub, stays out. B-Cole with those lightning reactions, chooses to come into the pit lane, goes on to another set of softs. I don't think he had a choice of which tyre he wanted to go on to. But nevertheless, as you can see now on board with B-Cole, he's been able to do a lap flat out, charges past everyone that came into the pit lane, and goes up into P3. So that's how he gained so much, because he was the first driver into the pit lane. And also because he was in manner, he also didn't get held up by anyone in the pit lane. So big gain for him there. But back to the live action, and it's Big Shot, and I think the safety car is coming in. So we're going to get racing once again.
Yeah, the safety car is not in view, and Big Shot going very, very slowly indeed. So the safety car is coming in this lap. We just saw it go around the parabolica with its lights off. So the safety car is coming in this lap. We've got that group of cars at the back very fired up. Nervo hasn't been able to gain much in terms of position, but he's definitely there now to try and overtake some guys. And now we're back racing here in Italy, and Aresi's going right around the outside of B-Colt, who's not had a good restart, but now B-Colt's got the slipstream of Big Shot. Big Shot moves over back to the racing line, and Aresi having a lot of lag there. He's now backed off, and B-Colt up the inside, not quite into turn 1. Alex up the inside of a Williams, and now bumps over the curb at turn 1. He's got to be careful not to knock his front wing off. That's Kian on the escape road on the left hand side. Don't know what's happened to him. And Alex then in 10th place now, and I don't know why he was well, he really got forced onto the curb, as I think that was Nummer he was fighting with, was already up the inside of another car, but he lives to fight another day. And now this is on board with Emthorn, already making quick work of the opposition then, up the inside of Theo into the first Lesmo. It's not really an overtaking spot, but that's not going to stop Emthorn here this afternoon, who's been putting some cracking overtakes so far in this race. And now on the run up towards Ascari, we've got B-Cole in the manor right behind Big Shot. And if you want a chance to win this race, this is probably the best he's going to get, or the best he definitely has got all season long, if indeed everyone else has got a pit stop to make. We know Big Shot definitely has to pit, as he hasn't used another set of tyres yet. B-Colt as well has to pit, because he's only used the softs in this race. Emthorn now up the inside of Ali K. So despite Emthorn being on the mediums, he's got some stunning pace at the moment.
Yeah, he's charging through this field as we now go back to the battle for the lead, and it's B-Colt trying to put the Ferrari driver under pressure. He goes to the outside for turn 1. Will he be able to hold it round the outside of there? He does. A slight bit of contact, but that's a brilliant move from the Manor driver. He's had torrid luck all season, but for once, everything seems to be falling into place for him. He takes the lead of the Italian Grand Prix, and now can surely pull away from Big Shot, considering how worn his tyres are. But as we go into the second chicane, the Ferrari driver seems very close behind, but back to RBI's in P8, looking up the inside of Theo, makes very slight contact. I think he just outbraked himself slightly into that corner and was caught out by how early the Manor braked, but nevertheless, he maintains P8 for the time being as we go through the second Lesmo, and B-Colt out front has already got a sizable gap.
Yeah, obviously Big Shot's going to be struggling now on those very, very old soft tyres. And now on board with Emthorn going around the outside of Dana Snake in towards Ascari, locking up the rear slightly, but gets the move done. And that is now the Haas up into 4th place. So he's got a chance of winning this race as well if he can make those tyres last towards the end of the race. But obviously we've got no idea how long they're going to be able to take those medium tyres. And now Big Shot is very much holding up his teammate, and Ressi's going to get mugged by Emthorn. I think Big Shot's come into the pits there, and Emthorn's managed to take 2 cars there in one move, so he's back up into 2nd place, but he's got to fight off the Ferrari in the braking zone of turn 1. He's come back up the inside. They make slight contact, and but they thankfully somehow both survive, and that is Emthorn up into 2nd place, and Dan there in the Force India in 4th at the moment, and he's doing very well indeed. Obviously the other guy who has worked out very well from that safety car, as well as Aresi and B-Colt, and Ali is still right behind them in 5th place, unable to get past at the moment.
Yeah, all this battling is just giving B-Colt out front now a massive gap, and he's probably 2 seconds up the road already, as M4 will now set off in pursuit. He seems to have very good pace in that Haas today, but Ali isn't too far behind and is on a softer compound so he'll surely have a good opportunity to catch up once he clears Dan and Aresi. But as we go into Ascari once again, there's Biko in the bottom of the picture. But yeah, he is looking good and will hope to extend a big gap, because at the end of the race, I'm pretty sure he can go on to another set of super soft tyres. And so this will give him a huge advantage. So I really think he is looking good at this point, but nevertheless, into Parabolica we go. And we've got Alex going up the inside of RBOS, but RBOS round the outside, much better traction, as Alex very much got caught up on the inside, but we'll have a good opportunity with DRS. But back to the battle for fourth, and Dan is coming under pressure from Ali K, as Ali looks up the inside of turn one. Dan goes in deep, he's locked up, and now will be able to hold on for the time being, but Ali will surely get better traction on the exit. He pulls it up into Rich. He's got plus 3.3 laps of fuel. He's got a lot to burn. They're now side by side, and this is going to be very close into the next chicane. Ali will have the inside line, so surely he'll have this move done, and I think he will. Yes, he does. He's got the inside line, and that is the McLaren driver up into P4.
Yeah, he took his time doing it, but he has finally done it now, and now he can set up the Ferrari in front of him to try and get past as soon as possible. It's critical for Ali to try and hold on to Mthorn, but Mthorn with superb pace at the moment on those medium tyres, pulling away from this group of cars now, and is trying to hunt down the manner of Biko, who's up in the lead of this race. And what a result for the manner of Biko if he can try and convert that lead into the win. But we're only just at half distance, and there's still a long way in this race to go, as we're now watching the Force India of Dan the Snake. The only Force India in this race that will be scoring valid points in the championship if he can maintain that points paying position at the moment. But at the moment, right now at this point in time, he's got the manner of Theo and the Haas of RBOS right behind him for company, and down into turn one. Are either of them going to go for a move? No, they're not. They're going to stay follow the leader at the moment. And now on the exit of the corner, both RBOS and Theo struggling out of that corner, as I think we're now going to scroll back to Novatank, who is still down just in 15th place. Beacock's had a moment through the second chicane. He's lost a lot of ground there, and he's now under threat from Mthorn, who's going around the outside of the first Lesmo, and they're going to bang wheels slightly. There's contact, and somehow Mthorn doesn't drop it there. Very good car control from the Mano, but Beacock there with a critical error that has allowed the likes of Thorn and Aresi to close right back up on him, and that means he's going to be in trouble for the next few laps.
Yeah, it's a huge mistake. We saw in the initial part of that clip that he was 1.7 seconds ahead of Mthorn, so that's well out of slipstream and DRS range, and now he's given that all up. A huge mistake from the Manor driver, especially at this track. So this will give an opportunity for the Haas driver to find a way past. Obviously, he'll get DRS down the main straight, but Beacock still got decent pace, obviously, on the softer compound as well. But Ali K is now looking in very good position because he is on the soft compound tyre, will be able to go to the super soft at the end of the race, no worries. So for me, he is still looking very good considering the pace he showed earlier in the race. He's actually trying to make a move on the Ferrari driver of Aresi, as we now switch back to RBOS going up the inside of Theo in towards turn one, and he isn't able to get past Theo, defending very well, coming up in P6. Another great result for the Manor driver, and it's looking a great day for Manor actually at this time, as Beacock still has the lead. He was able to defend from N4 as Ali K is up the inside of Aresi into the second chicane. That's a good move from the McLaren driver to now hunt after the top two, and he definitely has the pace to catch them.
Yeah, the two Williams have swapped positions as well down the pit straight at the start of this lap as well. So those two swapping positions, and Big C is now the one in front. And it's looking great for the Williams boys at the moment. 2 cars in the points at the moment, as Mthorn is now right up the gearbox of B-Colt. And well, if B-Colt wants this victory, he can't really afford mistakes that he's already made during this race. He ran a little bit wide on the exit of Ascari there, and Mthorn is really very much so up his gearbox, and surely he's going to have a great run coming out of the Parabolica. At this stage in the tyre life, is beginning to switch over where the mediums are now the better tyre. But regardless of that, Mthorn has got great pace on those tyres. So his setup, his car working in tandem very well with his driving style at the moment, but even with DRS did not have the straight line speed to challenge the Manor into turn 1 as he loses the back end slightly coming out of turn 2. And now Ali K is pretty much just sitting back and watching this at the moment. He's got to close up really to try and grab the lead if there's any bit of squabbling between these two and they push each other off the road. So Ali has got some work to do here. Beacock's made a mistake on the second chicane once again, and that has now allowed Emthorn to breeze clean around the outside of him this time around. And well, commiserations for Beacock, but the race is far from over just yet. He's going to have the DRS coming out of the second Lesmo, and Emthorn already trying to break that slipstream on the run up towards Ascari. And well, that's Emthorn into the lead and Beacock down to second and under threat now from Ali K.
Yeah, Ali is looking to find a way past the Manor driver as we head down into Parabolica. He's trying to look up the inside, but wisely backs out of that one. But yeah, Beacock seemingly succumbing to the pressure of leading this AOR race, as he's now well within threat from Ali K as we head down the pit straight. I think he'll still get DRS from Emthorn ahead, so should be able to maintain position, as we head down in towards turn 1. Aresi just behind with Dan, and also a lap or so ago Alex was able to get past RBOS. Alex on the medium compound tyre. We've known he's very good at saving tyres, and so could this mean he's on an effective one stop? It'd be interesting to see the tyre wear of the other guys on mediums as we go in towards the second chicane, as Ali will have the inside line. And I think that is him up into P2. Yes, it is. A very good move from the McLaren driver. And now he'll set about catching the hats.
Yeah, as Dan already mentioned, Alex in 7th place at the moment. He's kind of renowned for being good on his tyres. Who can forget China earlier on in the season, where he was the only guy to 2-stop starting on the super soft. So it meant he really had to do a 3-stop. But Alex was one of the only few people to do a 2-stop that race on the super soft, as this is a replay of B-Colt clumping over the curbs at the second chicane, and somehow this is when they're running side by side through Lesmo, and no real contact on his screen, but that was enough to pitch the Haas into kind of a slide, and very good car control from Emthorn to try and well, not put it in a spin. And there again, the next lap, B-Colt clumping over that curb once again. So the curbs are not his friend at this track, and he is that has now cost him not only the lead, but definitely second place in this race for now, as now we've got the Williams of Big C up the inside of RBOS, and Big C making his way up the field at the moment. He's doing a very good job in that Williams at the moment, as I think we've got quite a few pit stoppers. Yep, now we have on board with Theo, so he's gone on to another set of soft tyres, so he's going to have no trouble getting those to the end, I don't think, and a brand new set as well just to help him. So now we're looking at Dan at the Snake in 5th place at the moment. Very good pace at the moment for him to be in 5th place, not dropping off the back of Aresi too much, and but he has got Alex coming up onto his backside, and now Aresi losing the back end slightly out of the second Lesmo, as we're now looking at Beacolt, who's dropped off the back of the top 2 slightly.
Yeah, and it has to be said that Ali K is catching Emthorn, but Beacolt still in a very solid P3. It's worth pointing that one out. He will be easily able to go onto another set of soft or super soft tyres for the end of the race, as now on board with Super Scrub, as he goes through Ascari and gets past the Sauber of NBA Rubens. Yeah, he's quietly making his way back up the field. I wonder if he's aiming also to one stop, but judging by that tyre wear, it's going to be a bit of a stretch as the Ferrari of Aresi dives into the pit lane. So I wonder if he's going to be able to make a set of super soft work from there. But Alex also trying to make his way through the field. He passes down with very easy. Just gets the inside line for turn 1. The Force India driver not making it too hard as he locks up the brakes into the first chicane. Yeah, he didn't have much control of his car there. But yeah, so Alex up into P4. And the question is now, who can one stop from here? Because we've known Alex to be very good on his tyres. Emthorn can be quite good on his tyres, but I think he'll be forced to stop, considering all the battling he's done. Haven't really kept up to date with Alex, and also I think everyone else has to make a pit stop due to the tyres they have used so far this race. But Ali K still with plus 2.8 laps of fuel. He's got so much to burn. And as we saw there, his tyres were about 67%. M4 here, 53%. Compare that to Super Scrub, who I think it was below 40. That's an insane difference. So I think he'll be wanting to pit within the next couple of laps. But Ali K will be surely forced to either pit this lap or the next one.
Yeah, M4 chewing through his medium tyres at the moment. And yeah, not that much better than Ali K, who's on a softer compound, it has to be said. So now what are these two going to do? M-Thorn fakes coming into the pits, and Ali K doesn't really succumb to that. And now we've got B-Colt in the pit lane, so he's going to get another brand new set of tyres on. And I would imagine with 8 laps to go it will be the super soft. So he's going to go onto that tyre, into his pit box. And indeed it is the super soft tyre for the Manor. And now a 2.8 second stop. Not the best, not the fastest you can get on this game. But now that's his teammate setting the fastest lap of the race. So new tyres are definitely working. And he's going to come out in 9th place behind Aresi and Big Shot, who of course pitted earlier on, very early on, around about lap 13ish. And has got that undercut. Aresi obviously on those new super softs as well with an undercut. And B-Colt now has got to hold off his teammate up towards the second chicane. And is fine and keeps that position at the moment.
Yeah, and it's worth pointing out how much an undercut Theo has managed to get. So for the guys who pitted early, choosing to go onto the soft compound tyre, it has worked out absolutely brilliantly, because they are now well within a good position to get some good points, considering they've only got 7 laps to go. But as we sort of come towards the end of the pit stop window, I think we're going to see who is going to try and one stop from here, as M4 is getting a lot of time on this stop. Ali K soft tyres seemingly giving up on lap 20, and so this gives M4 a good opportunity to gain some time. I think they'll be both going onto a set of super softs. And I wonder who stayed out, because someone definitely did that. I think it might have been Alex and also Super Scrub, as M-Thorn is being held up in his pit box for some reason. What on earth has happened there? Ali K's already gone past him. He must have had some sort of penalty there, because he had a 7.2 second pit stop, has dropped so far behind a whole host of people. And this is Ali K battling with Aresi and Big Shot. And has Aresi got the undercut and on Ali K?
Yeah, definitely. So Ali K has lost out quite a lot by staying out those couple extra laps, and Aresi is now up into 4th place. And Kian, by the way, who was very much, well, he was down the escape road at the safety car restart, is now down. Oh, sorry, is now up to 3rd place as M-Thorn clumps over those curbs at the second chicane. So as this order shakes up, I think this is kind of the pit stops that we've all the pit stops have been made, sorry, and I don't think we'll see anyone else pitting. I think the top 3 are going to try and make it to the end, because it's pointless putting super softs on with 6 laps to go. You may as well try and hold it out there. And well, those guys up at the front, the top 2 at least, they've definitely got the gap to try and get to the end with no problems. Kian might be a little bit more under threat, as now looking at Aresi, under threat from the McLaren of Ali K, and now into the Parabolica they go. Which of these drivers is going to be ahead down in towards turn 1? Ali is going to get the slipstream and the DRS to help him, and he is going to be very close to the back of the Ferrari up the inside in towards turn 1, as M-Thorn is, I think, now up the inside of B-Colt in towards turn 1 in the background as well. Ali K up to 4th then, ahead of both of the Ferraris, and M-Thorn as well gaining that position on B-Colt behind them. So Ali K is now going, this is now Ali K's chance to try and hunt down all of the one-stoppers that are in front of him.
Yeah, and he's got everything in his favour. He is on the super soft side, 2-step difference between the mediums that Alex, Super Scrub and Kian are all on. But he's going to see how he gets through them all. As we see Alex out in front, a 4-second advantage to Super Scrub and a 7-second advantage to Kian. So Alex is probably around about a 16-second gap to Ali K. So he's got a lot of a gap to work with, but Ali K will be pushing like mad to try and hunt down that gap. We know he's got the pace. We saw that early in the race. Aresi in P5, he's worked his strategy quite well. He made quite an early pit stop for that set of super softs, here we are on board with M4, and he would be in a very good position at this point if he didn't have that penalty as we go into Parabolica. And Big Shot, his strategy, I have to say, has been awful today. Don't really know what he's been thinking, but nevertheless, he is going to try and maintain whatever points he can as we head down the pit straight to start lap 23 of this Italian Grand Prix. And M4 trying to try and find a way past. It doesn't look like he's got the straight line speed at all as we head into the braking zone, and the Ferrari is able to maintain position, and this could be another frustrating lap for the Haas driver. As I say that though, he's got very good traction coming out of turn 1, and he's now going side by side as I head through the Curva Grande in towards the second chicane as they have the outside line, so Big Shot could be able to defend this. And no, M4 around the outside, lovely move, and he gets himself up into P6.
Yeah, so Big Shot, as you said, his strategy has not been the best here today, and he's definitely cost himself a very good chance of a race win, which he has been really wanting to get. And now we're looking at Ali K, who is pretty much going to have easy meat in the shape of Kian, already up the inside down in towards the Ascari chicane, and Kian doesn't make it too difficult for the McLaren. And now that's Kian sadly off the podium. And now looking back at the race leader, he continues again, and those rear tyres are not looking good at all. He's at 63%, so this is going to be fascinating. This is going to be a great end to the race. Can Alex hold on to those rear tyres and keep those rear tyres intact so that he's got grip for the last couple of laps? As now Thorne's already got past Aresi, I think that is, and is shaping up Kian in the braking zone of turn 1, and he's late on the brakes and has already got past the Renault, so that's 2 places in one go for the Haas driver. So Thorne really is having a great race here in terms of overtaking, and it's a shame it's not on the podium yet, but there is still 3.5 laps to go in this race, and now Kian has to look out for the 2 Ferraris that are right behind him.
Yeah, and he's on effectively roughly the same strategy as Big Shot, but Big Shot does have 2 lap pressure tyres, and this is actually saving Big Shot's race because everyone is getting held up behind the Renault driver, and Bicol has decided to join this pack as well. He's looking good in P8 and has, well, an advantage definitely over Kian and Big Shot, and has probably got similar pace to Aresi. As we headed down to the Ascari, almost 3 wide. That looks like Aresi was up the inside of Kian, goes deep though into that corner. Big Shot checked up Big.
No!
Oh my God, Bicol's in the wall.
No!
Oh my God!
It was going to get a point. He's just sitting there in disbelief, and that is horrible for the Manor driver. It looked like a couple of 10 odd laps ago he could have won this race, and now he's not going to get any points at all, unless something really bizarre happens and no, he's retired. So that's another DNF to add to his collection that he's got this year. And I apologise for using the word collection, but that's what you have to call it at this stage in the season. And now Kian under threat then from the 2 Ferraris. It's Big Shot, the one that's challenging him, as Aresi was really out of control on the brakes. And okay, there's Big Shot going across the screen out of control himself. So now it's the other Ferrari that's out of control, and now Kian has been passed by that Ferrari of Aresi, who is now up into 5th place. And well, this race has been very hard to keep up with, and I hope you're doing I hope you're doing a better job than we're doing at the moment. And now Kian trying to come back at that Ferrari, but on those very old medium tyres, he's going to very struggle to do that. And now back on board with Ali K. How far behind is he behind the Force India as Super Scrub? He's 6 seconds, 6.8. So the thick end of 7 seconds behind. He's got time to do it. I don't think he's got the pace to do it at the moment. So Super Softs are going to die in the last 2 laps of this race. So it might be between Alex and Super Scrub, depending on how their tyres shape up. As 7 tenths going over the line, so they're very close together. What's the gap now between Ali and Super Scrub? 6.5 seconds. So we gain half a second in that last sector, as we are now with the top 2 then. Super Scrub right on the back of Alex with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, and somehow these guys have managed to keep their tyres. Super Scrub, as a reserve, has managed to do an absolute strategic masterclass here, because He's gained 4 seconds on Alex in a matter of laps. I think Alex has gone into ultra tyre conservation mode to try and make sure his tyres last to the end, not realising the pace that Super Scrub would have. He's clearly keeping on pushing, as we don't really know what his tyres are like at this stage of the race. We've got a few back markers in the shot as well, but nevertheless, Super Scrub well within DRS range, and we've got 1.5 laps left to go, and we are set for an absolute intriguing finale to this race.
Yep, here we go then. Through the Ascari chicane. Super Scrub very much within that slipstream and DRS window. He's about, I think, yeah, 4 tenths behind. So he's definitely going to get DRS on the run down towards turn 1. Into Parabolica they go. Can it will, well, this will be a fantastic fairy tale if a reserve driver manages to win this race, but obviously this is critical for Alex. If he takes 25 points off of Nervotank's lead, that will be a huge boost for him coming into the final third of this race. Super Scrub then on the outside in towards turn 1. He's going to go clean around the outside of him on the brakes. He's got the position into turn 2, and that Super Scrub into the lead of the race then on the last lap. So Alex's final chance to try and get that place back surely will be the DRS zone towards the Ascari chicane. And, well, it's, don't forget, it's a 7-point gap between first and second. And Alex really needs to get, if he wants to get this championship, needs that victory. And Clarkie's retired. We don't quite know why, but that's not really important in this stage in the race. The last half of the lap then of this amazing Italian Grand Prix that we have been given here today. Alex now with the run and the DRS towards the Ascari chicane. Is he going to go? He's got to go for the inside here. He's gone to the left-hand side. They're going to be so close to the apex. They almost touch. And Super Scrub runs slightly wide. That's going to put him out of position for the rest of this corner. And now Alex has got a tremendous run coming out towards now the Parabolica into the last corner. Surely Super Scrub has got this in the bag now. And Alex is going to try and go for a cutback. Super Scrub has gone really wide. Alex has got the run out of the last corner. And he's going to take the victory here in Italy. And he's got it on the line out of the last corner. What an amazing ending to the race. And Alex just manages to grab that win. And that's Ali in the background. He was only a second or so behind. And now this is Aresi coming home in 5th place. And now this is actually Kian under threat. He's being mugged off there. And he's going to end up in 9th place. So he's lost an awful lot over the line there. And I'm out of breath. That was quite an ending to the Grand Prix that we had there. And this is at Nervotank crawling over the line as I'm out of breath.
What have I just witnessed? Right, this is a replay of the final lap. Super Scrub. Alex has got the inside line. I don't know how he's being mugged off here, but this is impressive braking from Super Scrub. Goes round the outside. That is an incredible move to get into the lead of the race on the final lap. God knows how he was feeling. Alex, he needs this win for the championship. This is a crucial race to gain 25 points on Nervotank. Up the inside, you see the desperation. He goes in deep, Super Scrub, on to the curb on the outside. I thought he was going to lose traction there. No, he doesn't. And now, on the run down to Parabolica, this is insane. He manages to get into the slipstream and goes to the outside. And somehow, Super Scrub has lost grip mid-apex. And Alex gets a cutback somehow and gets the lead of the race over the line. Simply unbelievable.
My heart is pounding after that. That was you couldn't have scripted that any better. And Alex, I think, will be very happy with that one. It's a shame from Super Scrub's point of view that he hasn't won the race, but he can be very proud that he fought for the win on the last lap, as this is a big old argy-bargy battle between Kian and Theo. Theo being rather pushed off the track there by the Renault, but I think they'll get away with that. I don't think it mattered in the end anyway, because Kian had a lot of penalties to go with it. But yeah, you have to give props to both Alex and Super Scrub for being respectful at all times. And they could have so easily took each other out, especially at Ascari. But yeah, you have to give props to them to not spinning each other off the road. And what a dramatic end to the race that would have been if we had the two leaders taking each other out. And this then is... I can't. I forgot who that was.
This is M4 getting his penalty there. So RBS has spun off at the safety car restart, and M4 was meant to give the position back, elected not to for whatever reason, and then he was given a 5-second penalty. It didn't show up on his screen because he has some of his HUD disabled, and so that took him out of the lead of the race. God knows what would have happened if he didn't get that penalty. It could have been an entirely different race.
And in the end, then, it's Alex who wins by a mere 10th of a second. It was that close in the end. Ali only finishing 1.1 off the race lead. It's hard to believe that he was over a pit stop behind at one stage. M. Thorne coming home in 4th place, as Dan has already said, what could have been for him without that stop-go penalty. Aresi coming home in 5th place, the highest place Ferrari in that race. I think the Ferrari team will be disappointed with that result, as it could have been much, much better, definitely for Big Shot as well. Big C in 6th place, followed by Theo and then Dan. Kian in 9th place, and the last point scorer is NBA Rubin in the Sauber. Then it's Big Shot in 11th, just missing out on a points paying position, and then Nama in 12th place, followed by Jake, RBOS, Novatank in 15th, and never really recovering after his poor start, even with that safety car. Clarky in 16th then, no idea what really happened to him in the last couple of laps of the race, and then it's Jonas and Bimu who finished a lap down, followed by B-Colt, who retired with just a handful of laps to go, then Mayhem Madness, and then the last DNFer was Sean. And for the Drivers' Championship then, the lead is cut down to just 33 points. Still, Novo can afford to lose a race win, but he won't want to take that chance. Thorne maintaining that 3rd place ahead of Aresi, and Kian in 5th place as well. ADK moving up to 6th place ahead of Big Shot, RBOS, Dan and Clarky maintaining their positions respectively. Theo moving up to 11th as Desimple drops down to 12th, and the only other movement, NBA Rubin moving ahead of Mayhem Madness.
Not a great day for Renault, but they still maintain the lead in the Constructors' Championship, now 99 points ahead of Ferrari in P2. Haas only 13 points behind the Italian team, with Red Bull in 4th, a very close gap between 2nd and 4th. McLaren are 5th, all on their own pretty much, with 145 points, with Force India also looking pretty good in 6th. Manor are 7th, with Mercedes in 8th, and Williams move ahead of Sauber, the only movement in the Constructors' table. They now have 40 points compared to Sauber's 39. Toro Rosso propping up with only 1 point.
And now it's interview time, and the first man we have got with us here today is Ali K, who managed to score his 2nd podium of the season. But Ali, can you be happy with that result when you had a commanding lead prior to the safety car?
I think I could probably be happy with my own performance, but it is pretty gutting not to get the win considering the position I was in. I think without the safety car I obviously stand a much better chance of winning, because it came out at such an awkward time. It couldn't have been any worse time, so I think without that I'm not definitely going to win, but I definitely stand a much better chance of taking the win than I did with it.
You picked up your 3rd pole position of the season, and you are the only other driver apart from Novatank this season to have more than 1 pole. What is it about qualifying that brings the best out of you?
The fact that I practice it quite a lot most of the time is normally where I gain my pace, but it seems to be that I tend to produce my best in the actual qualifying sessions rather than in practice. So most of the time I'll nail a lap in qualifying. So I think Canada, Italy and Baku have always matched my PB in the qualifying session. That was good enough for pole. So I think I always have the pace to be right at the front. It's just actually always producing in the qualifying sessions that sometimes proves difficult.
You're 13 points behind Kian in 5th in the drivers' standings. Is beating him the goal for the rest of the season, now that it appears that McLaren is locked into 5th in the Constructors?
Top 5 in the drivers is definitely the aim. It's something significant, I guess, that I can take away from otherwise what's been a fairly average season. So, yeah, top 5 in drivers is the aim. Not necessarily beating Keane, but just getting in the top 5. Considering I was sat in 3rd for a bit at the start of the season, to not be in the top 5 would be disappointing.
Thank you very much indeed. And now the second man we have got to interview with us today is B-Colt, who got another DNF while in the points paying position. It was his 5th straight DNF and 7th of the season. So surely this season must be turning into a little bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, I don't really know how to describe my run of form. I mean, it seems that anything that could go wrong can go wrong, whether it's me making a mistake in Belgium or just kind of getting caught in an awkward position here today. I mean, you don't really expect people to be going side by side through the second and third apex of Ascari, and I had nowhere to go and just kind of in shock when you DNF again like that, given the position I was in the race earlier and just the general pace I had. But yeah, I guess it's how this season's going.
You held the lead for the first time this season, but two critical mistakes saw you lose the healthy lead. Were the nerves a factor given your recent results and being in a new position?
Yeah, nerves were a pretty big factor. I think when I made the move on Big Shot, I was pretty happy, and then I kind of sunk in over the next few laps. Once I had the 2-second lead, that I was in a legitimate position to win the race. Not really knowing the strategy of the guys behind, but the pace seemed good at that point. And then, yeah, hitting the curbs twice at the second chicane were just kind of simple mistakes that should have been avoided. And then after that, the pace kind of fell off, and yeah, it was an unusual position to be in.
Your teammate battle is an interesting one, with you out-qualifying Theo 11-1, but he out-racing you 9-3. You're currently 7th in the Constructors and 17 points behind Force India. Is this a season of what could have been for the Mana team, given your struggles this season?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look, more often than not, I believe I'm the quicker car, and Theo's done the job this season for us to put us in the position we're in. But when you only have one guy scoring points and you have a car that's often quicker who's making mistakes and finishing outside the points or not finishing at all in my case, obviously we've missed a lot of opportunities. Should really be well ahead of Force India, possibly challenging McLaren, but it's just not how the season's going.
Alright, thank you both for joining me, and that's it then for the Italian Grand Prix for round 15. I've been Shane, and joining me has been Dan. Thank you guys for watching, and be sure to tune in for Singapore. Goodbye.